Okay, The Queen of Uglies by Jimmy J. Viciouz. The Queen of Uglies by Jimmy J. Viciouz. Chapter 1. The Beginning. Narrator. Did you ever think about a place where creatures and humans live in harmony? Such a place does exist in a faraway galaxy, far away from the Milky Way galaxy. A galaxy where the sun is pink and green, shaped like a star, with two flames coming off of it. The stars were different colors and sizes too. It only had one planet in the whole galaxy. This galaxy was called the One Planet Galaxy. The One Planet Galaxy is mostly water and only has two islands on each side of the planet. This planet is called Beauty and Ugly. All the beautiful people lived on one side, and all the ugly people lived on the other side. It was not always this way. At one point in time, this world was in chaos. All the humans and creatures were fighting with each other. They were fighting over who was going to rule the beautiful island. There was Egyptians, elves, witches, wizards, fairies, trolls, leprechauns, unicorns, and humans as well. The leader of the witches and wizards was Mark. Mark was the last man standing in the war of all the witches and wizards. He cornered Scott, the leader of the fairies. Scott gave up his undying allegiance to Mark, the king of all the beautiful people. Almost all the creatures and humans on the island gave up their undying allegiance to King Mark. Mark promised to be a fair king, and the trolls did not want to give up their allegiance to King Mark. They did not want Mark as their king. So for Mark to end the war, he moved all the creatures who are not beautiful inside and outside to the other side of the island. Mark promised to keep all of the uglies off the island. Mark did not make this decision. If you were bad here, you go through a court system. 12 people decide what to do. At this point in time, Mark found himself a wife. Her name was Diane. Diane had two kids, a girl named Brandy and a boy named Jimmy. When Jimmy was 5 years old, Diane took him to Earth. Brandy stayed behind with Mark. So Diane packed her bags and got in their jet plane and head for Earth. She landed in a place called Laughlin, Nevada. Diane landed the plane where no one could find it. Then she went out looking for a car. She bought the cheapest one. After that, she went looking for the cheapest place to live. She found this really cheap apartment complex called Riverwood. It was a place in Earth they that the Earthlings called Section 8 housing, where they lower your rent by what you make. She moved them both into the apartments. At this time, Jimmy meets this girl named Tasha. Tasha, hey, my name is Tasha. What's your name? Jimmy. My name is Jimmy. We just moved here. Narrator. While Jimmy and Tasha were talking, Diane comes over to check on Jimmy. Diane. Hey, Jimmy. I see that you have made a new friend. What is her name? Tasha. Hi, my name is Tasha. Diane. Hi, Tasha. My name is Diane. I'm Jimmy's mom. Jimmy. Mom, can Tasha stay the night at our house? Mm. Diane, where does she live? Tasha, here in Riverwood with my mom and dad and my little brother. Diane, okay, let's go over there to your mom's house and ask her if you can stay the night. Tasha, okay, let's go. Narrator, so they walked to Tasha's apartment. Now Tasha is a rebel with standards as well. Smart, skinny, tall, has blonde hair and green eyes. Loves to wear punk rock clothes. Diane is a biker hippie. She has dishwater blonde hair, hazel blue eyes, skinny and tall. Jimmy is skinny, has white hair with green eyes. Loves to sing and dance, wears punk rock clothes. Now Tasha is opening the door, and she asked her mom if she could stay the night. Tasha, Mom, can I stay the night at Jimmy's house? Elise, who is Jimmy? Jimmy, hi, I'm Jimmy, and this is my mom. Diane, hi Elise, my name is Diane. And Tasha asked if she could stay the night at my house. I told her we had to come over and ask if it was okay. Elise, where do you live at? Diane, here in Riverwood. Elise, yeah, if it's okay with her dad. Fred, yeah, she can come. She can stay the night. Narrator, Tasha went to go get her things. Elise is very skinny, has blonde hair and blue eyes. Fred is skinny as well, has blonde or brown hair and blue eyes. Tasha's brother Devin is tall and skinny, has blonde hair and blue eyes. When Tasha was done getting her things, they headed for Jimmy's house. Jimmy and Tasha stayed up all night watching movies. Chapter 2. My Real Life. Narrator. It has been about 12 years since Jimmy, and about 12 years since then. Jimmy is 15 years old and Tasha is 14 years old. Jimmy is hanging out with Tasha at her house. Diane has to talk to Jimmy about who he really is, so Diane calls over there. Elise answers the phone. Elise, hi. Diane, hi. Elise, this is Diane. Can you send Jimmy and Tasha over? I need to talk to them. Okay. Elise, okay. We will be right over there. Narrator. Elise went to tell Tasha and Jimmy that Jimmy's mom wants to talk to him. Elise. Hey, Tasha and Jimmy. Jimmy's mom needs to talk to you. She just called and asked us to go over there. Jimmy. Okay, we will be ready in a minute. Narrator. They all went over to Diane's to see what she had to say. When they got there, Diane was waiting in the living room. Jimmy opens the door and walks in. Jimmy, Mom, what's wrong? Diane, I need to tell you where you come from. Jimmy, what do you mean? Diane, Jimmy, we do not come from Earth. We come from a place called the One Planet Galaxy, on a planet called Beauty and Ugly, on the island of all the beautiful people. I'm sorry that I never told you about it. We moved away when you were younger because there was a war going on with the witches and wizards on the planet. Your dad, the King Mark, king of all the beautiful people. Jimmy, wait. I have a dad, and I'm a prince too. Diane, yes, you have a dad and a sister named Brandy. Me and your dad agreed to take one of you each to keep you alive. Tasha, so you guys come from another planet in another galaxy and your royalty? Diane, yes. I had to tell Jimmy because the war has ended and it's time to go back home. Elise, what? Go back home? Can we all come too? Diane, yes. Elise, you, Tasha, and Devin, and Fred can all come. Jimmy, wow. So now, where are we moving? Somehow, are we getting there? Diane, there is a plane outside waiting for all of us. Your dad and sister are also waiting for us to come back. I need to call your dad and tell him we are on our way. Narrator. So Diane left the room to call Mark to let him know the update. Diane. Hey honey, we are now getting ready to head home. Mark, that's good. Me and Brandy miss you. Diane, I miss you guys too. Jimmy is just so shocked about all of this. Mark, he will be okay when he comes home. Diane, there's something else I have to tell you too. Mark, what is that? Diane, Jimmy has made a friend. Her name is Tasha. I invited her, brother, mom, and dad to come live with us. Mark, that's okay. Well, me and Brandy are going to get things ready here for you. Diane, okay. I love you. Be home soon. Mark, love you too. Bye. Narrator. So Diane and everyone is now getting ready for the trip of their lives. Elise and Tasha had to tell her dad, and also her brother too. Mark Mark had to tell Brandy that her brother was coming home. Mark, hey Brandy, come over here. I need to talk to you. Brandy, yes, Dad. Mark, your mom and brother are on their way home from Earth, so we have to get everything ready for them. Narrator, well, now Jimmy and everyone are now in their now on their way to where Diane hid the jet plane. It was behind an old building that no one goes to. It was not that far away, but outside outside, but out of sight. Meanwhile, Jimmy's dad and sister are getting ready for his return. Jimmy's dad has black hair and hazel green eyes, wears regular clothes. Brandy has dishwater blonde hair and blue eyes, wears gangster clothes. Now back to Jimmy. They are boarding the plane. The plane is black and green marble. Inside had a theater room. It was the only room with chairs in it. It was the biggest room on the plane. There were over hundreds of chairs in the room on the plane. There was no windows. It was painted black. The screen is 100 feet tall. The kitchen was black, all black. 20 feet deep pool that was green marble. Anyways, they were on their way to the one planet galaxy. After they got through the ozone layer, Diane pressed a button to make a wormhole. It was pink and purple inside of it. She put the plane into light speed and went through the wormhole. Everything around them went black. When they finally got out of the wormhole and everything stopped moving, they were all pushed to the front of the plane by the gravitational pull. Jimmy gets up and opens his eyes. He saw only one planet with two islands. There was two moons. One was pink and the other was purple. It was the most beautiful thing he had ever seen in his life. Also, there was a star there was a star-shaped sun that had two flames coming off the ends of it. One one mm, the flames were pink and green. The sun was the same as well. When Jimmy saw the airport, he was really surprised. The airport had everything to a theater, a mall, and a food court. It was the biggest building. The airport was the biggest he had ever seen. So now they were on their way home. Jimmy was looking at everything. Everywhere was so beautiful. The island that made up one whole island. Uh, it was 8 islands that made up one whole island shape. On each of the islands had its own town. There was the Egyptian town, the fairy town, the unicorn town, leprechaun town, troll town, elves town, witches and wizard town. They also had a place called non-magic town. It was a place where people who had no magic. When they finally reached the palace, they saw that it was in the witches and wizards town. The palace was green all over with a black scene. So they all went inside, and Diane gave them the tour, while Sid was putting away their things. First was the living room. Everything in the living room was really blue. Next was the kitchen. It was all black. Even the dining room was black too. Diane gave everyone a bank card with their own PIN number on it. Then they all went to their rooms to unpack. At this moment, Mark, Jimmy's dad, walks into the room. Mark, hi there. Diane, hi honey, I was giving everyone a tour. Mark, oh hi everyone. Everyone, hi. Narrator, Tasha and Jimmy were thinking after they were done unpacking, they were gonna go for a walk. They were on the fourth floor. Jimmy's room had lions, jaguars, leopards, snow leopards, bobcats, lynx, Siamese cats, and so much more in their own cages in the middle of the room. Jimmy found a door that connects to Tasha's room. Tasha's room is all black and green all over. At this moment, Brandy walks into the room. Brandy, hey, I'm your sister Brandy. Jimmy, hi, I'm your brother Jimmy. And this is my best friend Tasha. Tasha, hey girl. Jimmy, well, we are going to start unpacking our stuff now. Brandy, okay, see ya. Jimmy, see ya. Narrator, Brandy walks out of the room. Tasha and Jimmy finish up unpacking, then go for a walk around town. Chapter 3, Betrayal. Narrator, Jimmy and Tasha walk over to these woods behind the palace. When they got out of the woods, they saw a sign that had written on it, Witches and Wizards Town. So they sat down in front of a cave right by the sign. They loaded a bowl of weed, hid it, then passed it back and forth to each other. They started to talk about the good old days and how great it was. After that, they went into the cave. It was very dark, so they lit a lighter. It seemed like it would never end. When it finally stopped, there was a door. They went inside of it. They went inside of it. They saw that someone was living there. There was a couch, a love seat, and a bed. A few minutes later, an old wizard walks into the room, yelling at them. Garrett, who the hell are you? Jimmy, I am Prince Jimmy. Tasha, I am his best friend Tasha. Garrett, I see my prince. Jimmy, I have a story to I have a story for you. Since you've been gone, your sister has been trying to control people's lives. Tasha, for reals? Jimmy, so let's hear this story. Narrator. So Garrett, the wise old wizard, starts to tell them the whole story about the island. The most powerful wizards of them all. Garrett, a long time ago, this world had no ruler, no leader. Everyone was defending themselves. A great war broke out. This war is known as the Greatest Death. Egyptians, fairies, trolls, wizards, witches, and even the humans were all fighting. There was many deaths. The first one to back down was the Egyptians. Then it was the elves. Then the fairies were the last ones because they hid in a tree the whole time. The wizard king, your dad, found them in that tree and cut it down. After all, after all others were destroyed, the wizards had their own civil war. This went on for 7 years until one day when your dad almost died. A wizard tried to attack him, but your dad was greater. The greater wizard, the greatest wizard ever. And he was the last wizard standing. A few years had passed and he found himself a queen. He found your mom. In the courtyard of the kingdom, he picked up a rose and put it in her hair. Then she gave him a kiss. That's how it all starts. Now things are getting bad. Your sister Brandy is telling people how to live their lives. She's running their lives. You have to stop her. Jimmy, I don't know what to do. Jimmy, write a spell and cast it on her. Narrator. Jimmy took a pen and paper and started to write a spell. After he was done, him and Tasha headed for the palace. Jimmy, Brandy, you cannot run people's lives for them. Brandy, why not? Who is going to stop me? Tasha, we are going to. Jimmy, powers of the witches rise. Turn this girl ugly. Brandy, what are you doing? Jimmy, it's done. Narrator, after that, Brandy looked into a mirror and ran away, to never be seen or heard from again. Jimmy, townspeople, Brandy has run away. Narrator, after that, Jimmy threw a party to celebrate that Brandy has left.